Okay, folks, here we are. Living Life in Joy with Davey is making an appearance today. So we're just going to let him do what he does because he'll get off of me at some point. So welcome, everyone. See, there he goes. Welcome, everyone. I am Rev Melissa, and this is Living Life in Joy. And this is the show where I get to share my joy with other people who are connected to their yes. So we have a wonderful show planned for today. I'm really excited about our guests today. The Living Life in Joy show is a vehicle that that really is an opportunity for people who are in their purpose to share what they're doing in the world. So I am so grateful to New Thought Media Network to have this platform so that you can learn and find out information from other folks who are doing their work, who have said yes to their calling. And the person that I will be with today is definitely connected to her yes. So I can't wait for you to hear her story and to find out how she can support you on your journey. So without further ado, let's go, set, ready. All right. So welcome again to Living Life in Joy. Again, I am Rev Melissa, and I want to share the bio of my next guest. So Susie, we call her Susie. Susie Rachouh began her journey towards healing after a health crisis in 2021. Susie is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and also has a master's degree in intercultural management. Susie owns Nutritional Solutions and is a licensed instructor for the Restart program and finally free workshops with a focus on women over 50 years old. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Susie. I forgot about the drum roll. Susie, I felt like I destroyed your last name. Say your last name for me.
That's okay. It's Ra and Shu. So
Rachouh.
Yeah. Yes, Rachouh.
Rachouh. So Susan Rachouh. So, Susie, thank you for being my guest today. I am just so thrilled to have you on the show. Susie and I know each other from Rockland CSL, where she recently served on the Leadership Council and also is a member at Rockland and is of great service to the community there. So, Susie, let's get into it. So, when you sent me your bio, you had a story in there. And I'm not sure if that's your won't he do it story or if you have another story that's your won't he do it story. But tell me, how did you come to be on this journey?
Well, I came to be on this journey because in 2012, I was working in Brooklyn and I was working at a university. I was standing with colleagues, and all of a sudden, I had this weird feeling just go down my body. It was almost like, like an egg or something was just going down me. I just felt like something was going down me. And then I thought, hey, maybe I'm going with it. I thought I was going to have to lean on the filing cabinet. And after that, it passed, and then I was all tingly in my head, in my shoulder, and my shoulder kind of hurt, my back hurt, and my hands were tingling a little bit. And of course, what do you start doing? Googling, like, what could this be? And in the end, I went with a colleague. I walked over to Brooklyn Hospital and I was admitted. And it was right after, not Sandy, but was one of the big storms in 2012. Maybe it was Sandy. And so anyway, the hospital was full of people. It was insanity. And I was there for 36 hours. And basically a lot of testing, they decided that perhaps I was being emotional when that happened. So that, and some great friends, came and picked me up and everything. And then I started to, just say, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because the MDs have said nothing's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really started my journey. I started, looking, going to different kinds of holistic practitioners, naturopath, a chiropractor, just trying to rule things out and move forward. And then really it was through that I, then joined Facebook groups and tried to figure out what was going on, what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Never really found out what had happened. But basically moving forward, it was like, I have to make some changes. I was, had a long commute. I was walking, like dragging myself up the subway stairs, and I was overweight and I had no energy. And I was just like, this can't continue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what got me started. And through different approaches and different, testing that was done and things like that, I ended up losing 60 pounds. And
Wow.
it was a long process. It didn't happen overnight. And, really started to just, take care of me and take care of my health. So that was my story.
Wow.
Yeah.
So through that health crisis, that led you on the path to, it sounds like, really educate yourself about this system, this physical system.
Absolutely. That's what happened. And from that, I was actually in a Facebook group when I started to ask, well, I think I might want to look into this more. Friends kept telling me, if you don't stop talking about this more, you're like, like, just please go to school. do something, on the side, and that's eventually what I did, because I was with a lot of women usually. And
Uh-huh.
so, through my faith community and things like that, I was with a lot of women, and we all had different kinds of issues going on. And so, I would tell them different things I learned in my groups, and then they were like, yeah, please go to school. And so that's what I did. And I found, through one of the groups, I found out about the Nutritional Therapy Association, which is where I did my certification as a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, which is a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I decided to pursue this, and I did that like basically like a hybrid program.
Uh-huh.
And then I completed in 2017. But then of course I had to have a little break because I was exhausted, and lots of other things intervened. But I did start teaching Restart. I think in 2018 I started teaching Restart.
Okay. So
Yeah.
before we get to Restart, can you tell me exactly what is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner?
Sure. So functional is a term to say that we're going to the root cause.
Mm.
Even there are, all kinds of different health practitioners, including medical doctors, including MDs, that are functional specialists.
Okay.
So that's it. We're getting to the root cause. And then nutritional therapy is really supporting the body with through both nutrient dense, properly prepared foods, as well as supplementation when needed. So if somebody had some kind of an issue, we don't diagnose, we don't do anything in that sense that like a doctor would, but we are supporting that. So supporting someone who has whatever kind of condition that has been diagnosed, but we're not involved in that part. We're just basically involved in supporting that nutritionally.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say somebody had diabetes and they wanted some help with, if they did Restart, that would be one thing, which I'll talk about later. But, anything that I would work with anybody on is supporting them. And usually, oftentimes even talking to their medical practitioner. So
Okay.
don't compete with them or anything. We're simply supporting.
Okay. So if you hear things in the background like a meow, that's my cat is like having a full-blown episode right now. I don't know what's going on, but he is extra crispy tonight. So so Susie, when you work with people, like this is what I imagine in my mind, right? For the nutritional therapy, like would you come to my house and go through like all the things that I have in my kitchen and like just clear out the things that aren't good for me and then make recommendations on what is best for my
Yes.
body.
If you were an individual client, then I would do some sort of testing on you. I do both muscle testing, where I'm trying to figure out different points on your body to find out what's going on, what's a priority, like maybe like there's some issues with your digestion. And so that could even be an emotional thing. And
Mm,
so I do, things like that. We do a functional exam where you actually lay on a massage table. Just because of COVID, I haven't been doing that as much in
mm,
the last couple of years. But through individual appointments, we would see, like, based on forms and everything that you fill out and our, conversation, that would be like a pantry clear out. So
mm,
absolutely, I could do that. I have gone with one of my clients to a couple of stores they were unfamiliar with, Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, because I kept bringing things up in Restart class about different things that they could eat. And they're like, where do you find all this?
mm.
And then, so I said, well, you know what? Let's meet. Let's go do this. And I'm going to show you, like, aisle by aisle, certain things that I've been talking about that could replace other things that you've got that are not working for you.
Ah, that's so
So yeah,
cool. That is
yeah,
so cool. So you mentioned Restart. Share some about what the Restart program is and
sure.
how people can participate in
Yeah.
that.
So I am licensed to teach two different programs, and one of them is called the Restart program. And it's a program that lasts for 5 weeks, and it's a
Mm,
combination really of learning about real food as well as different aspects of our health that we start off after the first week and get going into a part sugar detox for 3 weeks and off of most processed foods. Then you start learning. So that's how we set it up, and everybody starts on that. But
mhm,
then week 2, we're working on looking at your digestion. And a lot of people don't, have digestive issues, but really don't know much about it.
mhm,
Then we talk about blood sugar regulation. So we're telling you to stay off sugar for 3 weeks. Why would we do that? And what does sugar do in your body? What do we
mhm,
need it for? What don't we need it for, etc. And then week 4 is the truth about fats. Now, if there's anything that we're all confused about, most of the time it's fats, right? Like, which ones should we have? Which ones are good for us? Which ones are terrible for us? Which ones are like maybe okay as long as we don't heat them,
mhm,
So, and I remember that when I was first met with the rep from the school that I ended up attending, she had this really cool refrigerator magnet, and it was like all about the fats, and they were in like different categories. And I today just still love that magnet because it
mhm.
just helps me go, oh yeah, I know you don't heat up flax oil, but people might not know that you don't heat up flax oil. You can only have it
I
cold.
didn't know that.
Yeah, you can never heat up flax oil. It would not be good for for you,
Okay.
for it, because it'll break down and get rancid.
Mm,
So there's all these different issues around fats, and we tend to get very confused about it. There was, of course, back earlier in my day, the whole fat free thing, like,
yeah.
oh, we don't need any fat at all, which was sadly not the case. And so that is something that we do talk about in week 4. And then at the end, we celebrate. We
Mhm,
celebrate the success, and we talk about how to move forward,
mhm.
because it's a short program. It's not long, like 10 weeks or,
Right.
6 months or anything. So how do you move forward and, keep these good habits that you're building up? How do you keep those going in your life? And also how to reintroduce foods. And so
Mm,
something that you haven't eaten for a while, for 3-4 weeks, then how do you, start back up? Do
right.
you go right to the store and get your ice cream? No. So we talk about all that. Yeah.
So it's not like, are you eliminating and replacing, or are you just eliminating?
So yeah, we're eliminating, and then at the same time, there's a list of different foods that you should be eating, that are that you
Okay.
can choose from. And with that, a lot of times it is very educational. People are like, what is that vegetable? Like, what is that vegetable? Where do you find it? Like that,
Mhm,
whether it's bok choy or whatever it is.
mhm,
These days so much more is available, but a lot of times still, depending on where people live, they might not have the stores nearby that have all the great fresh produce. you can live in a food desert and not be able to find everything. So, and it's there's definitely lots of choices of very basic stuff that it's just fine. Carrots and celery are great, but if you want to have something else that's new to you, or a new herb, something like that, then we talk about all that, and lots of recipes, so that people can get figure out what they're going to make and how they're going to change up their habits. So you're definitely letting go of some things that you're not going to eat, and then learning about those things as well, and then adding in new things at the same time.
Okay. And what's the Finally Free workshops? I just love that title.
Isn't
Finally
that great?
Free. Yes.
So Finally Free was started by both of these were started by other FNTPs. And Danny is a specialist in sugar detox. And so what she discovered, though, with a lot of her clients, was that people would lose the weight and then they would gain it back. Or other things like that. So she started researching and designing a program about not just food, but really intuitive eating. So not so much they're in the program. You do a detox in that as well, but all of the workshop, every week there's a new workshop for 7 weeks, and that and those are all around intuitive eating and really listening to our bodies before we, take that next nibble.
Yeah. It's so true about listening to our bodies, because I could eat certain things and immediately feel, mucus build up in my body. Like when I eat too much dairy, I could start to feel it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, dairy's a big one with mucus. The other thing is what I did finally figure out. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened when my incident happened, but the tingling part, I started getting it again a couple of months after that incident. And so it took me a while to track it down, but it's actually really different kinds of sweeteners. And so like high fructose corn syrup is a huge no-no for me. Really, nobody should be having
Right.
it. Yeah. And then, but I think one of the things that I reacted to was literally molasses, which is good for you, but not necessarily my body. And that's the one thing also that we really stress in our training and when I work with clients is that we're bio individuals. We're each unique. And so, I could have an upset stomach from having too much asparagus. I mean, it could be healthy food that just doesn't sit well with my body.
Right.
And so that's something else that, if people say, oh, I don't like that, or I won't eat that. Okay, well, then we'll try something else,
Right.
because we're all bio individuals. We have our own taste, but also just what resonates in our body for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. What resonates in my body. And don't we know it, right? But I still want that ice cream, Susie.
Oh, I know. And you know what? That is one thing about Restart. And let's hope I don't goof it up here, but it's like, when you choose what you're going to eat, then you just choose it consciously. You eat it and you let it go. You don't say, oh, there's no bad and good foods. We don't have bad and good foods. It's just, we're not going to eat this for 3 weeks because we want to see how this reacts in your body. But it doesn't mean it's a bad food. It's just, maybe not the healthiest thing you can eat, but it doesn't, it's not bad and good. So again, and then having that, just conscious moment of, I am going to have, a small cup of ice cream, or maybe I'm going to have a dairy-free ice cream. Those can be delicious, and then not messing up with your, the mucus.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And that's what I switched to. I wind up switching to like almond or coconut based ice cream. So yeah, but it's something about saying this resonates with my body or this doesn't resonate with my body. It just feels kinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to be, eating anything to do with, issues around eating is we have to be compassionate. We have to be compassionate with ourselves because we're so hard on ourselves. And I think women in particular, which is why in my field, it's advised that you have a niche, right? That you're not just the be all end all for everyone. And so my niche is women over 50, but that does, I've had 25-year-olds take the Restart class.
Mm-hmm.
But really, that's my niche because I do believe that we've been told, yeah, you're not going to lose any weight once you hit 50. Just give it
Mm-hmm.
up. That's never going to happen.
Right.
Just don't, it's downhill from now on. I mean, that's kind of the collective culture,
Right.
race consciousness kind of idea. But really, that's not true. It's not
Right.
true. But
Right.
we've kind of been, especially I think women, everything is about how does my body look, and am I gaining too much weight, and there's a lot of body image issues for women and girls. And
Mm.
so I really like this also working. I love working with young women. I've got two daughters,
Mm-hmm.
21-year-old and a 26-year-old. And so, yeah, I love working with that age group as well. And it's for anyone, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's sort of my niche because especially for individual clients,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But yeah, I can work with anyone, but I do love working with, my age group. I'm almost 61. And so I enjoy that because I really believed like, this is it. Nothing's going to change.
Mm.
And it did.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
possible.
So if folks want to sign up for the Restart program, tell us when it starts, how they can sign up, and all that
Sure.
wonderfulness.
The next one starts on February 7th and it goes for 5 weeks. It's on Monday nights over Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up on my website. You can sign up to have, what I'd like to do also is I really want this to be a good fit for people. I don't want somebody to sign up and week 2 is like, oh no, this is not for me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I do what's called a discovery call, 15 to 30 minutes. It could even be a little bit longer. It's fine. Just to make sure, like, is this going to be a good fit? Or sometimes people already have this information and they need to tweak something else, but they've already been through this because they've been in other programs or,
Mm-hmm.
something that's where they've got a lot of this kind of information depending. And that happened with someone. We met and we had a great conversation, but after she told me everyone that she'd been working through, this chiropractor and all this testing that she'd done, I said, you'd be a good individual client, but you shouldn't join the class.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the kind of thing that I like to do. So there's on the website, they can just go into the contact me. There's like my photo and like a little place that they can get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a free offering on the website. It's called 4 Steps to Wellness. So you can go in there, download that. When you download that, I'll get your information as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'll be reaching out. But
Okay.
yeah, I would love to have anybody, listening to join on February 7th and just contact me through the website. And, I, really enjoy hearing from anyone.
Okay. All right. So if you need support, there you have it, right? Nutritional. What did we call this? Oh, we had a name for it, Susie. Well, I've been calling it conscious nutrition, just to be conscious about how we are caring for our bodies by what we are putting into our bodies. It's a conscious act that we can do for ourselves. So
Absolutely.
Restart, go to Susan's website and get all the information there. All right, so we're going to go into our next segment. There we go. There's the flyer again. We're going to go into our joy questions. So, what does joy look or feel like for you, Susie?
Well, for me, joy is helping my clients reconnect to their zest for life.
Zest for life.
Life, that's what I like to call it. By eating healthy foods and incorporating supplements and other wellness habits into their world.
Okay, I like that. That's one I love that Z word, zest.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So I say that I'm living life in joy. What are you living life in?
I am living life in connection.
Mm.
I love connecting my students and clients to new foods, new experiences, new cultures, and how these can all be interconnected. I love bringing people together.
Okay, live life in connection. Beautiful. And last question, what is your joy song and why?
Now, this was hard for me, and I really, I watched a couple of other interviews, and so then I was, all into my YouTube and like listening and everything. So I love to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my joy songs is called Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot. And the reason is because of a memory that I have, because I first heard this song when I attended a Caribbean festival when I was a student in Montreal. And Montreal was just, they have a saying where they call their cultural diversity, they call it a mosaic.
Mm.
We always called it a melting pot, like we were just going to all blend together into
Right,
the
right.
soup. And they were like, no, 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 no. They're like a vertical mosaic. So it was, that's what it was for me, for cultures, languages, you know, immigrants from all over the world. I heard all kinds of languages I'd never even heard of, you know, back in the day. I did speak French and English, so that was great. But everyone was dancing in the street, and literally their faces were pure joy. So
Mm.
that's why it's that song. It's not so much the lyric, it's just the liveliness of it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. Susie, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was wonderful to have you. Everyone, go check out the Restart program. It starts on February 7th. As Susie says, see if it's a fit for you. See if it's a fit for you, and she will work with you to assess if it is or not. Thank you so much, Susie, for sharing your gift with us. Nutrition and healthiness is it's just so important. It will change your life when you feel good in your body. Guaranteed. All right.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Rev Melissa. I
oh,
really
you're very
appreciate it.
welcome. You're very
That's wonderful.
welcome. Thank you. So, all right, y'all. If now we're still in January, and I know some folks out there made some resolutions about eating healthy, getting in shape, losing weight. You know how we do in January, right? And now it's like the end of the month and crickets, right? Crickets. So go on to Susan's website, it's right there on the screen, and check out the Restart program. It might be the answer to a prayer that you have to treat your body as a temple. Yes? All right. So that is today's show. I just want to remind everybody 11:30 a.m. Join us at Rockland CSL for our Sunday celebration. And on Monday, Sip with Red Melissa, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Peace and blessings, peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.